Welcome to part 3 of my story for another Saturday Stories. Hopefully you got your snack and you got your drink and you're all bundled up. I know I'm partly kind of. It's cold here, but I've been wearing the same clothes because I only brought one warm outfit on my trip. And the rest of the outfits consists of long skirts, but they're still not warm enough. So I'm like, okay, I need to wear something different. So I'm wearing a summer outfit. I literally have the fan at 76 pointed directly at me. Heater, not fan, heater. So anyways, this is a continuation of the I was almost homeless story. So last time we were talking a little bit about Ruby and Jack and how we kicked Ruby out, and Sally and I sat down and we were talking and we allowed Jack to move in. So when Jack moved in, I was under the impression that he had a job. I was under the impression that he had a way to get to his job, and that if he needed to, he would find a job closer to our apartment so that he would be able to, go to work and not have it be so far away. Because for whatever reason, I was also under the impression that his job was 2 hours away, moving from his mom's house into the apartment with me. So I don't know if that was an accurate amount of time. I don't think it was, because it took me 12 minutes to get from my apartment to his mom's house. So I don't know what sorcery I was believing when he said that it was 2 hours away. And maybe it's because he said it was a bus that he had to take, but how does 12 hours, or not, 12 hours, how does 12 minutes turn into 2 hours? It's one thing if you're walking versus taking a plane, or not even that. It's 12 minutes to 2 hours. And none of us ever understood that. Ever. And then out of nowhere, he started staying home. I would see him already home when I got home from work, and I would see him home when I got up to go to work. And whenever Sally didn't have work, she noticed that he never left the house. There were a few times where he did leave the house, but then he came back a little soon to be 2 hours away for work. And so, there was that sort of thing going on. And then, much like how Ruby was towards the baby, he was this way as well. They did not like that there was a baby in the house, in the apartment. They did not like that she was screaming and crying. They did not like how there was a lot of noise going on. And I mean, it's a baby. What do you expect from a little baby? That's literally how they communicate. So, there's that. But Jack had this ability to build a huge computer monitor, and it was his baby. It was his creation. He built himself, I will give him that. It looked pretty cool. But, Sally was gonna have some friends over, and we had my Xbox and his computer and all of our electronics and stuff in the living room. And she came up to me and she was like, I'm gonna have all of my friends over. We're gonna be doing this, that, the third. I don't want your stuff to get broken and or stolen. Can you put it in your room? And I said, yeah, of course, whatever. So I packed it all up and I shoved it all in my room. And her friends came over, I made dinner, went to work, you know, whatever. And first of all, her friend got so drunk, and her friend's ex-girlfriend or her friend's girlfriend or a friend of a friend came over, and they literally started fighting. Like, fist fighting in the apartment while I was asleep. So I had to wake up and literally escort her off of my property, out of my apartment complex, because that happened. And I was like, if you're going to have people over, you need to be respectful of the other people in the house. Apartment. It's an apartment. I keep calling it... What is this? I keep calling it a house. It's an apartment. You know, but that was only one incident. There was other incidences where Sally would not stay out of my stuff. Like, I would have my closet, and I would have my things in my closet, my shoes, my clothes, my games, you know, for my birthday and Christmas prior to having the apartment. One of my ex-boyfriends and I, we were going to move in together, and so my parents got me a whole dish set, and they got me like soap and a package of knives, and they got like cooking utensils and pots and pans and all of these things, and I forgot that I had the soap. So when Ruby and I first moved into the apartment and we went to the Dollar Tree, we got soap. Well, Dollar Tree soap is not very good compared to other soap that is really good, where you literally have to use half the bottle for it to work effectively, and then 2 drops. And she somehow knew that I had the soap in my closet because it was a birthday gift that I had forgotten about, and I wanted to use the old soap up first, so I put that other one in my closet. And I came home one day, and both soaps are on the counter. And I'm like, the only way that you could have gotten that is if you went to the store. Or if you went into my closet. And upon going into my closet for another reason, I realized that it was the soap from my closet, so I put it back in my closet. And the next day, I would come back home, and it'd be back in the kitchen. And this would happen day after day after day. And I brought it up to her. I was like, can you stay out of my closet? Can you stay out of my stuff? Like, I don't want you using it. I want this to be used first, because it's not a good quality soap. Excuse me. So I would rather get rid of the good quality soap, and then after that is gone, we can avert to the better quality soap. And then when that's gone, we can buy better quality soap, instead of having to fuss over, this other one or whatever. I guess we could have mixed it, but no one ever thought of doing that. And she kept doing it. She kept going in there. And because I said something, it irritated her. So we started arguing. And, at one point, she wanted to use my laptop. So she sent me a message. And actually, let me rewind a little bit first, because that leads up to what happened upon me kicking her out. Spoiler alert, she gets kicked out. So, rewinding a little bit, she never looked for a babysitter. She had one babysitter that she finally found, that she would rely to, like, she would say, okay, I have work today, so the night before, before going to bed, she would call the babysitter, and she would ask if her friend could watch the baby, and then she would only do that one day at a time. She wouldn't be like, oh, I have work this day, this day, this day, from this time to this time, are you available all of these days? No, it was a one day at a time thing, and she did not always show up on time to pick up the kid. So there was literally a time where her child was at the babysitter's house for an extra 2 to 3 hours because she couldn't go and get the baby. She didn't want to find the daycare because to her, I don't have a job, so I don't need to worry about it yet. I was like, I have a bunch of open positions at my job because my boss has literally been talking about it. I'm going to talk to him, and I'm pretty certain you're going to get the job. You need to go ahead and look for one. She didn't do it. She got the job. So then there were times where she literally made me late to work, or where she didn't show up at all. And her idea of payment, rent, was to give me food stamps. I love that you give me food stamps because we need to eat. I'm fat. I need to eat. And even if I wasn't, I still need to eat. You need to eat. The baby needs to eat. But we also have to live. And if we don't have the money for the apartment, you can forget the food, because where are we going to keep it so that it doesn't go bad? So again, my dad, I had to resort to asking him for help, which is really hard to do, honestly, because he was one of the people that said I couldn't do it from the very beginning, and to have to ask him for help only justified that. And, you know, so I finally got a card. I got a card from the bank saying that, oh, you can spend this amount of money, or you have this amount of money on this card, and you can spend the money, and then when you spend it, you pay it back, and it goes right back to the amount that you had. So if I had $5 and I spent $2, I pay back the $2, I'm back at $5 that I can spend. Something like that. Well, I started spoiling everybody because everybody spoils me. Everybody helps me in ways, and I've always been, you know, tired of, oh, I need this, I need that, can you help me? And then they do it when they necessarily can't do it. So I'm the type of person that when I'm finally able to help or do something or give back, I do. So I started spoiling everybody. And going back to the laptop situation, I was at work and Sally wanted to use my laptop. She texted me asking me to do this. I'm at work, so I didn't look at it right away. Didn't give her an answer. She goes into my room where my sleeping boyfriend was and takes my laptop without my okay for this to happen. She's using it. I get up, or I go on break, and I see that she's messaged, and in my head I'm like, she's already got the laptop because she asked, and that to her is enough. So I replied and I told her no, and she responded back with oops. And so I said, so put it back. And she copped the biggest attitude ever. She was mad because to her, I was keeping her from social interactions. I was keeping her from the world. She was bored because she had nothing to do, which was a lie, because she could have gotten her kid into an actual daycare. She could have gone to the WIC office like she was supposed to. She could have done some laundry, clean, or whatever, or pick up some extra hours at work. She literally could have done anything. And then she was complaining because I had all of the electronics in my room. The electronics were mine. They were Jack's. She asked for us to put it in my bedroom so that her friends did not destroy them. And so she was mad because I didn't want her to be on my laptop, because she asked but didn't wait for me to respond, more or less. And she was like, oh, well, you let Jack do this, and you let Jack do that, or whatever. And I was like, he lives there too. It's his stuff. And she was like, well, I would much rather be homeless than live in a place where he lives. And I was like, okay, then get out. I'm not forcing you to stay here. I'm simply telling you, you cannot use it, and if you're already using it, you need to go put it away. It doesn't matter what he's doing, you need to put it away. And she didn't want to do that, so I came home and she was literally packing her stuff to leave, and she was gone the next day. That's basically that. So, it's a lot of drama. It's a lot of drama. So that was 2 roommates that I had kicked out. And so now it was just me and Jack. And that was not a good thing, because right after I kicked Sally out, Jane and her boyfriend Brian, they came to visit. And, you know, they had gotten there to visit right after Sally had left. And, you know, I had already been talking to them about, you know, them moving in and everything, and that was the plan after their lease was over. And, you know, I had asked them, I was like, you know, are you in the position to come out here and move in with me? I just kicked her out, I need some help. And, you know, they were on the fence about it. And I was like, if not, I can ask Rose again and see if she is in the place right now to be able to do it. And, you know, Jane was like, go ahead and ask her. And, you know, we'll just kind of see what happens. Because if we can't, you'll have her. And if, you know, she can't, you might have us. So it kind of works hand in hand. So I asked Rose. And Rose was like, you know, I might be able to. Give me about a week or whatever, and I will figure it out, and I will let you know. So that's basically, you know, what I was told. So it was about a week later, or actually it was a couple days later, because if you look at from Jane's standpoint, they went to go home, and then their car broke down. And I was like, well, you know, you can always come back here. You're more than welcome to stay longer. I don't mind. You know, and if anything, I can kidnap you. Just keep you here. And that's what they ended up doing. They ended up just staying, and they moved in. So, which means we had to go on a trip to go and get their stuff, which was fun. And Rose ended up saying no, she wasn't going to move in. You know, so there was that. I still have a little bit of the story that I would like to tell you. A lot more details, obviously. But there is going to be a part 4. So hit the subscribe button so that you can get part 4 when it is uploaded. And leave me a comment and hit the like button. And I will see you next Saturday. Bye!